Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. And welcome to Week 9 edition of the 2026 NFL Draft Stock Report. We are having a blast doing these shows. Going to be joined again by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host. And we're going to talk about 8 players today. 4 players that are ascending in our up our draft boards, as well as 4 players that are kind of falling off a little bit based on their production and what we are watching on their film. We've been watching an all-22 film. Scouting these players for the pretty much all season long. If you want access to those films, check out the website below. I also have rookie ranks for the 2026 class, 2027, as well as 2028 rookie classes. If you play Dynasty, you're going to love to get a sneak peek of the future. Help me grow the channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to have all sorts of great NFL draft scouting content as we are mid-season here in college football, like I had mentioned before, and we are in the scouting season. So let's not waste any more time. Enjoy the show. So let's have some fun. The NFL Draft Stock Report for Week 9. Super excited. I'm going to let you kick us off. Who is your first stock up player? Who you going to talk about?
Yeah, well, in a class where everything is kind of shaken up, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later, I'm going to go with Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby, who, to me, when I watched the film, I was watching this past weekend and against Baylor, I really like what this kid can bring to the table. And when you look at the size, he's listed at 6'3", 225, 235 range. I mean, he's got good size. The rushing upside is absolutely there. I've been using this kid weekly in DFS, and he's been getting me tons of fantasy points, even in tough projected situations. The arm talent is there. I like the trajectory of the ball. Like, he knows exactly when to press it downfield with good power, and he knows exactly when to lob it up and just give it a nice touch for his receiver, which we saw in this past game for a touchdown. So I think he can vary his arm angles. He had a really nice side arm angle throw for a touchdown in this game as well. I like what I've seen, and I think he could really be one of those guys that kind of rises up. So far this year, he's got 1,800 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's definitely that dual threat with good size. So I think Brendan Sorsby is on the way up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that kid's got some ability. I mean,
He does. Yeah.
I think the NFL is going to love the traits. It's whether I'm not sure about the Cincinnati system, and but I've watched a little bit of him as well, and I can see why you like the kid. I mean, he seems to go through his progressions, and I think you brought up something really important that he does. I think he's got the arm talent to get the ball where it needs to be on the field.
He definitely does.
He also has that ability to just layer it, 25, 30 yards, in between, linebacker and a safety as well. So that's a great call. I don't know if he's getting any NFL draft buzz. Is he a junior?
I don't know. Let me see. I do have in front.
I'm
This
just
is
curious.
he's fourth year. So, and
Fourth year?
looks like he's about to improve almost every single year if he keeps this up.
Yeah, 2
So it's
years
good
at
to see.
Indiana and 2 years at Cincinnati. Really,
Cincinnati.
only 1 interception too. He doesn't turn the ball over. I love that. That's good stuff.
Yep.
So my first stock up player I want to talk about is Jadarian Price. I just moved him up. He's my RB3 of the 2026 draft right now. After looking at Nick Singleton, Jonah Coleman, and just watching Jadarian Price, I think he's just going to be one of these good physical committee backs in the NFL who is just the physicality that he brings to the table and how hard he runs with pad level. I think he's a good navigator. 6.7 yards per attempt this year, 8 touchdowns, 500 yards already on the ground. It's a weak running back class. I mean, you got Jeremiah Love and Justice Haynes, who I think is going to be a potential bell cow on our dynasty rosters in the future.
I do too.
Outside of that, I'm not sure if there is another bell cow. I mean, Jonah Coleman's been playing really, nice. He might find a role like a Scattaboo role or something if a team takes a shot with him. But I think Jadarian Price is underrated. I think it's going to be very similar to the Ohio State situation last year where we had Junkins and Henderson, 2 guys, Love and Price, that are going to be first-round picks, I believe, in our dynasty rookie drafts. So Jadarian Price is my NFL draft stock up player, my first one.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. I watch a lot of Price being Notre Dame fan, and he has that special teams ability with, he had a big
That's
kick
true.
return in the past game too. So that is going to go a long way with scouts and NFL teams.
Hmm.
I'm going to go with a guy that, at the beginning of the year when we were doing our hot takes, I called it that I just didn't see it with Casey Concepcion, and I can absolutely say right now, I am freaking wrong. This kid has been playing
Yeah,
out of
it's
his
like,
mind. He's so explosive. Every time, they're Marcel Reed needs a play, it seems like Concepcion just knows exactly how to get open and be
hmm
available, and that goes a really long way too. So Casey Concepcion, I think he's going to make this wide receiver rankings in this upcoming draft very interesting, and he is definitely on the way up.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. Like I said, I just did my running back show, and he's number 5 for me. He's wide receiver 5 for me, at least on my big
Yeah,
board
I get it.
ranks. And
Yeah,
and he's physical as hell too. I think he made the
he
Feldman's
is.
freak
Yeah.
list because of his toughness, and I believe he was on. It was either him or Singleton, Eric Singleton Jr. But in any case, I love the call, man. KC is, we wanted to see that more vertical ability in his game from what we scouted last year from
Hmm.
him, and
He's
I think we're
showing it.
seeing that, yeah, at Texas
Yeah.
A&M. So he is a baller for sure. And I'm going to go with another wide receiver that I was kind of skeptical of as well. It's very similar to you. This is the good thing about scouting and continuing to watch players. I'm going to talk about Denzel Boston. This guy is a boundary, one of the true X receivers in this class. And this guy's ball skills, each and every week, he seems to come down with a catch. Jet is just more impressive than the week before. He's got 668 yards, 7 touchdowns, averaging 15.2 yards a catch. But I mean, this guy's ball skills and hands, I think, are really, really good in this class. And if there
Hmm.
is a team out there looking for a boundary receiver, I think this guy is going to fit the bill. I got him at number 6, actually, right behind Concepcion, right near Chris Bell, kind of in that same realm. So we got a really good mix of wide receivers in this draft
Yeah.
class. We've got 6'3" guys. We've got 5'11". We got all flavors for the NFL GMs out there drafting wide receivers. And I think Denzel Boston is a solid day 2 selection. So he rose up my board before I posted the video on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's nice. I gotta break down his film. I have not watched a lot of him this year, so that is good to hear because you and I were kind of, thinking the same way about him at the beginning
Mhm.
of the year. So if you like him, that goes a long way for sure.
Okay, there was our 4, right? I guess I'm on cue to take us
Those
from
are 4.
our
Yep.
stock up players. Now we're going to talk about some stock down players. Who's your first stock down player?
Yeah, this one, I've really tried to come on board with because I know you liked him, and as I watched the film, I started liking him too. It's just a little bit of the size, but the production has not been there with Eric Singleton Jr. And I'm not sure if it's just a Jackson Arnold thing. I'm not sure if it's a target share thing. You would think a guy like this would at least have one 100-yard game this season. That has not happened yet. Just a bit inconsistent. Cam Coleman's getting his. I was thinking it would be Eric Singleton getting his. I mean, you got to be able to scheme a guy like this open and use his explosiveness to your advantage, and it just does not seem to happen. So Singleton Jr., I have to move down based on production usage, and just it's going to hurt his development if he's not getting used properly either.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting that you bring up all of those terms because it's as though you read the show notes. Because my
Oh,
first
really?
stock down player, I'm going to say the exact same thing you just said about Eric Singleton Jr., and I'm going to go with Antonio Williams. You and I think he's one of the best
Yeah,
route runners in the class, and he very well may be slot player.
he may
But
be.
on
Yeah,
the season, he's got 225 yards, 0 touchdowns, and he's just not producing between getting nicked up in injuries over the last year or two. And it's very interesting because I don't think he has a 100-yard game either this year.
he doesn't.
So
Almost. I
there's
think I have like 85, but that's yeah. He should
now
have more.
what now Wesco is out, right? He's injured and
Hmm.
out for the
Right.
season. So now you got TJ Moore there. And I'm thinking Antonio Williams. I know Kate Klubnik didn't play this past week. Um, but whether it's him or the backup, how do you say his name? Vizana?
The I don't know.
Somebody.
Vizano. I don't know.
Pisano, who threw three touchdowns last week. So the guy at least has an
Yeah.
arm to get Williams the ball. But I just don't
Right.
know how an NFL franchise is going to look at a player and say he's a really good route runner, but he never really produced in college, because that's where we are as a junior. I mean, he may very well come back for his senior year, which is a real possibility, given the fact that the whole Clemson team just has not had a great season this year. So Antonio Williams, unfortunately, don't have him too far down, but he's kind of near 8 or 9 now for me, where before he was like 4 or 5. There's other guys that are just playing better, and they're putting film out there that is just too hard to ignore.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. And what do they say? The best ability is availability, and he
Hmm.
has not been available. What feels like his whole collegiate career, and that is definitely a problem. So I
Hmm.
totally get it. I'm going to go with a quarterback, and I'm going to go with Sawyer Robinson. Robertson. I see flashes, but then when I watch him, he's just a bit inconsistent. When he goes through his reads, he stares down his receiver. He's got nice downfield accuracy, but under duress, it seems like he kind of folds a bit in high pressure situations. I get a little bit nervous watching his mechanics break down. In a clean pocket, he can throw a gorgeous ball, and I saw that this past weekend. But I don't see the consistency with him. Even on a fourth down, he just threw the ball at the feet of his receiver behind him, and I just feel like the inconsistency is starting to drive me crazy with Sawyer Robinson. So I like the upside. I think he's a developmental type of quarterback. He's a guy that if you let him sit, learn, there could be something there. I just don't see him as a franchise QB that should go in the first round right now.
Yeah, I don't. I probably would have to agree with that. The last 2 weeks have been very disappointing.
Yeah, they have.
He
Yeah.
has kind of taken a step back a little bit. But my last guy I want to talk about is Zachariah Branch, wide receiver, Georgia, and just 362 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns. He has like
Mhm.
5 touchdowns his whole 3-year career, right? And I just don't
That's
know how
crazy.
you can. I mean, I know
That's
he's
crazy.
explosive. He's explosive. 5'10", 180. He's undersized, number one.
Yeah.
Is he explosive? Yes. The production, though, for 3 years just hasn't been there. So how am I supposed to take a player who hasn't been super productive in college and expect them to be a wide receiver 2 or get early day 2 draft capital? I just don't see it. He just isn't explosive enough consistently for me. And these smaller, wide receivers are tough to be fantasy dynasty assets. There's not a whole ton of them unless you are super athletic and super quick and physical. And Zachariah Branch, I wouldn't be surprised. I know he's getting a lot of buzz out there as a top receiver on some guys' boards and stuff. I just don't see it. I believe he comes back for his senior year, whether it's at Georgia or somewhere else. But so Zachariah Branch is my second stock down player for our NFL draft stock report for week 9. Hope you guys enjoyed that.